What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to HPA High Performance Agents. My name is Taj Howell. I'm getting a little bit louder here. And I'm back today with HPA. I've been in the fitness industry, the performance industry for the last 9 years. I've changed countless lives. I help people get in better performance, better focus, build better mindsets overall. And I'm here today again with Mr. Paul Hrycuna. It's been a while since he's been on the podcast, but we're going to be discussing today how to get clients literally knocking down your door to work with you. How do we do that? How can we create that as that level of attraction? And how does that actually pertain to real estate? So Paul, why don't you introduce yourself? If anybody's out there, there's a lot of new members of High Performance Agents in the group that may not know who you are. So why don't you introduce yourself? Let us know a little bit about you, and then we'll get into it.
Well, the first thing I'll say is they should go back and look at dozens of other videos that we've
I know.
There's a lot of information that's going to be useful.
Yep.
But my name is Paul Hrycuna. I'm the broker owner of Keeler Family Realtors out of basically Concord, New Hampshire. Greater, I mean, we service all over the place here in New Hampshire. And I own multiple businesses. I've been a part of, this with Utah since last, April 2021, beginning of April.
Yep.
It's been a bit, so I'm not a new character here anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
But, if you want people to come knocking down your door and seeking you out, you've got to, from the very beginning, be willing to play the long game, right? So, it's the long game. And really, where do you start with the long game? It's number one is it's a matter of time. But in order to get to the point where you have people seeking you out to only utilize your services, the very first thing is you got to be providing true value. Right. From the get-go, right? And what is true value, right? Let's talk about listings, right? So who are you going to call when you want to sell your house, right? Why is somebody going to call you, right? You have to think of the mind of the potential client, so the customer, right? What makes you different than anybody else, right? Taj, what makes you different than anybody else? Why use your services? Right. It's the same thing. You have to, what makes you different? For me, I would say is I think I'm able to determine what clients actually need, what their wants and needs are, right?
Right.
Just like when you're working with a buyer, I don't just walk into somebody's house at a listing appointment and start telling them how I'm so great at selling properties and they've sold so many and that, here's all the information on your house. The first thing I do when I walk in the door is I greet them respectively, right? Mm-hmm. I ask them, how are you doing? It's a pleasure to meet you in person if I haven't met them before. And then from there, it's, before I have them give me a tour of their house and I ask questions. But the bottom line is the first thing I want to know, and usually this is on the phone call I have with them when they first reach out, it's I find out what their needs are, right? What their situation is, how long they live there, how long they've been in this town. It's a personal conversation. I learn about them. I'm not trying to learn about the property right away, right? I'm learning about them. Why are they selling? What's their timeline? Do they have a plan for where they're going? And it doesn't matter if they're going anywhere in the country. I offer assistance to help them find an agent, a referral agent, because I work with agents all over the country, right? And I literally do. I'm in a separate thing from this called the locker room. That's brokers all over I'm working with brokers every week all over the country. Awesome. So I have a referral network all over the place. And then through HPA, I've had a referral as well. Dale over in Vegas, great awesome. Guy, but the point is, I am here to serve. I am here to help whatever you need. I don't pressure them. I don't tell them, oh, I will help you find an agent. I ask them find out what their wants and needs are. And then from there, your job should be easy. You just have to satisfy those needs, right? So, and to be quite frank with you, you need to be honest with people. So, there are agents that are new or newer in the business and they're fearful going into these listing appointments because they're afraid that, maybe their price will be too low. So then they tell them some astronomical price that's too high in hopes to just get the listing. And then they also undercut their own commission, which I think is crazy. I get 6% commission, like that's what I command. I am a full service brokerage. I do not cut corners. You get what you pay for. Even if, I give breaks, I'm human. Certain people, if, understanding, I'm flat out like, this is what I do, X, Y, Z. And if they've got an issue, I will have the conversation with them and say, okay, well, what's going on? What are the needs? Is money tight? Do you need, if they need to buy a house and it's a difference of saving them a 0.5% or 1%, I'm not going to prevent them from moving to the next place.
Right.
I'm human. I care about people. Right. And that alone is going to build a certain trust and bond with people.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is you got to figure out who they are. You got to connect with them. Mm-hmm. It's about the relationship. It's about the rapport. People over product. If you don't write that down, you're a fool. Mm-hmm. You're an absolute fool. People over product. I don't care. I don't go into a place thinking, oh, how much money am I going to get paid? Oh, this is a great, big, beautiful listing. I really, really want it. I go in there with the action plan of getting to know the person. Mm-hmm. And then how can I help them? Right. And I'm honest and I'm upfront with them. And you got to also understand that every door you walk into, every home and person you meet is not going to necessarily be a person that you want to work with. Mm-hmm. They're not going to listen to your guidance and they want to tell you how to do your job. That's a problem.
Right. Because
now you can't do your job. And there's a reason why you're doing your job. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So really providing true value, and the way you provide true value is finding out what actually is valuable to them.
Right.
So stop going in with these.
Ask the right questions.
That's it. You just, first thing you should be doing is asking them, how are they? Right. How are you doing today?
Show that you actually care. Right.
Be human. Yeah. Be human. Don't be a salesy, slimy guy coming in that's very obvious that you're only there for money. Like, I'm here to help. And I never make them have to sign, there is one document that you have to sign or give them legally in New Hampshire or whatever, but I don't make people sign contracts when I step in the door. And, I've got different methods of things that I do. But the bottom line is you need to meet the person and connect with them. If you're a dog person and they have a dog, take a moment to find out what the dog's name is, pet the dog, love up the pup, and just build a rapport. That is way more important than explaining them how all the bells and whistles of their home.
Right.
Right.
Like, connect with them, right? Because people like to do business with people they like.
Well, right? They have to trust you.
Yeah, 100%.
If somebody doesn't trust, this is what I tell a lot of my agents. It's like, you can know everything there is and be the best agent in the world at your job. But if somebody doesn't trust you, they will never use you. Yep. You can be an agent that's brand new and doesn't know what you're doing, but you're capable and you have potential and you know how to find solutions to problems, but they trust you. They're going to go with you every day and they're going to pay you whatever your area commission is, whatever you can command here.
What you're worth.
100%.
Right. 100%.
You get what you pay for, and people want to pay for comfort and trust. Mm-hmm. Now you still have to back it up with consistent quality service. You can't just schmooze people into trusting you and then do a job. That is not the long game. The long game is you have to leave a lasting impression when you're done with that client. And, I'll tell you, I am not the best at following up long-term with clients after I've closed deals for them. I'll tell you, I am atrocious at it. I have never cold called. I have never door knocked. I don't, that's not my style. I didn't need to do that. I used my ability to help people and, in my network, I did it. I work a lot, I'd be dumbfounded to find somebody that can outwork me. Let's put it that way. I sacrifice a lot and I put a lot of time into this. And I'm not saying I'm, I outwork everybody, but I can tell you, I work.
Yeah.
Work,
Yeah.
And, 100%. And, you got to take care of your clients. That is what is that's everything. Ready? People often think about, how do you get listings? How do you get leads? People pay for, I'm not even going to say them unless I'm not trying to give these large, terrible corporations, in my opinion, advertising. But you can pay for blah, blah, blah leads. You can pay for these leads. And they're trash. They waste your time.
Right.
Quality leads, the best quality lead is somebody who's calling you because they want you. Like, that is the best lead there is. Right. And how do you get those leads? by providing quality service to people over time and taking care of people so that they remember you.
Yeah.
Even if they don't remember your name, they'll remember where you work, and how you made them feel throughout the process.
Right.
And then they'll be able to find you, via your email, conversations in the past and whatnot.
And they'll recommend you for their friends.
Yeah. And that is how you get the best leads. You want people knocking down your door. You don't want to go knocking on their doors, right? Now you can, and I'm not trying. Any new agent, I commit, like, hands down, if you want to cold call and door knock, you will get business from that. And that is a quality way to go and get business. But it's going to be a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it's a lot more stressful, so you got to be pretty resilient. A lot of new agents get out of this business.
Thick skin. Gotta have thick skin to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. And it is tough, anything that's worth doing in life is going to be tough. Right. So, but you've got to be patient. You've got to play the long game. You got to first get one deal before you can get 100 deals.
Right.
So, you got to be kind to people. I mean, Taj, you're in sales, you're selling your business, but if you sell your business to somebody and you don't back up what you're doing, you'll never have clients again.
That's right.
And if you weren't kind to people when you first meet them and you're talking to them, you wouldn't you might still be successful. There's ways to do it, but you would not have the level of success that you have now.
Right.
And it's got to be consistent,
Absolutely. Consistency. So what does consistency mean in this regard?
It means the exact same thing every time. I don't know how else to say it. Consistency means that, if a client reaches out to you in the middle of a transaction, before a transaction, they're thinking about getting into buying or selling something, it means you get back to them. It means that you're predictable. Right. Consistency creates predictability. If you as a human being are not predictable for your clients, good luck getting them to knock down your door.
Right.
You have to be predictable. I mean, whatever you need to do to be consistent enough to be predictable is what I'd say. So, and you don't want to be predictable as, Paul won't get back to me for 3 days. Baloney. I get back to people the same day. And if I can't get back to them right away and it's been more than an hour, I'm in the middle of a meeting, I will text them when I'm in that meeting, depending on what it is, or as soon as I'm able to send them a quick message and say, I'm tied up until XYZ time. Right. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, or I'm on it, or you just got to communicate somehow to them so that they know that you're working on it. Right. Even
So playing the long game, it comes down to relationships, right? That's the main thing. It comes down to relationships. It comes down to communicating properly. It comes down to giving each client that you work with a unique experience where they actually connect with you as a human being, right? Well, that's what playing the long game really comes down to. And then obviously you said consistency. What else?
Well, so some of the things you said, I agree with everything you said, but you have to do all those things consistently, right? Without consistency, it's over. It's done. There's a reason why, every sport, everything that you do, there are the basics. Every job, the basics, right? Yeah. When things go array or out of order, what do? You go back to the basics. Yep. You've got to be able to do the basics consistently, right? So, and again, honesty, integrity, and willing to put the work in. Why am I successful? Because I can close hard deals. I can close deals that other people give up on or stay away from or are not willing, or they're afraid of because they don't know how to find the answers, or they don't know, how to. They don't know how to problem solve in some cases. There's easy deals out there and there are hard deals. I don't care. I mean, whatever the price point is, I have a minimum amount that I work for. So I don't care if it's a $5,000 mobile home or a $10 million mansion on the water. There's money to be made and service to be provided. Right. And as long as it's in, what my minimum amounts are, I will give the same level of service to any of those clients. Right. So, right. It's just rock solid consistency. Right.
So when people get to the point where they've got clients knocking down their door, where they've got their name out there, when they have the social media presence, when they have the team, when they actually have the level, when they've created the level of business and name for yourself that you have.
Yeah. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Yeah.
No, but that's when the real test begins.
Yeah.
Right. How do you maintain all of that
in
the same time period, 24 hours in a day?
Right.
So that becomes, that's the forever building new systems and structures and trying to plan ahead for, okay, what might be a roadblock and how can I account for that now so that I don't run into that wall?
Right.
That's a very more, that to me, what you asked is way more complicated. So it's consistently re-engineering your systems to make them more and more efficient.
Right.
And then of course, there's ways to delegate certain tasks, I have a professional writer write all my descriptions,
right?
Because I'm a little particular in OCD, and I mean, English wasn't my favorite subject, Now I can write a good description, I can write a pretty darn good one, but not as fast and as good as a professional writer can. It's worth the little bit of money to pay somebody when it takes them 25, 30 minutes. Will take me an hour and a half of way overthinking something.
Right.
In particular, right?
Right.
So you just got to, once you get to the point where you're overwhelmed with business, you have to, hopefully I'm at the point now where I can kind of see these things happening. And before I hit that, whoa, I know there's going to be way too much that I've never hit a point where there's too much I can't handle. But I've definitely hit points where it was like, whoa, like I know I'm going to be working until midnight every day.
Yeah.
That's been a long time since that.
Because now you also have better time management, you have better systems, and you have a bigger team.
Everything.
Everything's growing.
Well, it is, but if I didn't have a 3-hour morning routine every day, I couldn't do what I'm doing right now. I can promise you that.
Right.
By structuring the day and organizing yourself, it allows you to ready. When you get stressed out because you say you don't have time. Right. And you might not have time because your day's not structured efficiently.
Right.
That dramatically affects your ability to play the long game, to take care of clients in a manner consistently, because you'll be stressed. And even if you think you're masking it when you're on the phone talking to somebody, like people pick,
it still comes through. The energy
doesn't matter. It's coming through. It's and again, I'm human. I'm not perfect. So there'll be times where I will get a little elevated in stress, and I will tell somebody when I'm talking to them, hey, just want to let you know, like, it's been a crazy day. I'm a little stressed, but don't worry. You've got my one-on-one attention now, but if you hear a little bit of, if I sound a little different, just know I'm doing a lot,
Yeah.
And I'm just honest. I'm open, and it shows that you're human,
Right.
So, we can go on and on, but at the base level of all of this is, you got to put people over the product. And if your main focus is how can I take care of this person or these people, that is your main focus walking in that door, like that right there. If you base all of your decisions going forward on that, you're going to do the right thing and you're going to take care of people. And in the end result, you're going to be closing more deals. You're going to learn a lot more information. If you need a little bit more time to problem solve, your clients are going to be a lot more courteous and more patient with you.
Right.
It's a really snowball effect here, where if you're just rushing people off the phone and kind of just, if you're treating any client different than another client, that's a problem.
Yeah. 100%. So let me ask you this: if there's newer agents, because we've talked about manifesting this level of success and this level of name for yourself. But if there's any newer agents out there that are kind of like, well, you know what? I've only been in real estate for a year, 2 years, 3 years. My name's not fully out there yet. There's a lot of agents in my locality.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. There's I looked it up today, actually. There's 1.57 million agents in the States, right? So there's a lot, right? But how can a newer agent go about getting clients to knock down their door?
My opinion, do what others are not willing to do. Right? 1.7 million. I don't care if there's a billion agents. They're not going to, I guarantee you, they're not doing what I'm doing every day. Right. That's the difference. Now, you got to keep.
And in what way? Let's get deep into this. In what way? Do you mean with your routines? Do you mean with what you're doing to attract them? What do you mean exactly?
With putting my ego aside, with not being afraid to ask questions, not being afraid to let them know that I don't know an answer to something right away, but making sure that they understand that I have the resources, capability, and I will not stop working until I find and resolve the answer is like one piece of the pie. There's a lot of egos and emotions involved. Like, I think I'm very good at separating myself from what's happening and being able to try to put myself in the perspective of the people I'm helping so that I can best serve them. Right. We are here to serve. And if you are here to be served, you are in the wrong industry.
The wrong industry, man. That's right.
If you're here,
that's a great point.
I mean, if you're here because of money, now listen, we all we are all here to make money, to make good lives for ourselves. And am I a fan of money? Of course I enjoy money, but I don't enjoy money more than helping people. I don't enjoy money more than my morals and my ethics and ability to go to sleep without, thinking negatively at night, And not only that, I mean, you've got to be willing to kind of, you have to make sacrifices. I mean, I won't go into all of the sacrifices that I'm making that a lot of people just won't do. And I don't blame them. But at a minimum, you got to have some type of morning routine, and diet and exercise are huge. I mean, the fuel you put in your body really is your energy level. It's your thoughts, your negative or positive thoughts. I mean, I'm trying to, at this phase in my life, I am working on every aspect possible and hiring people and coaches and all these things. I'm talking like, diet, exercise, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, like everything, but you have to be willing to be vulnerable. You deal with your demons or the people in your life that are negatively affecting you. Like, I will hands down cut people out of my life if they are going to disrupt my, my system, my mentality and what I'm working towards. If I think somebody else is trying to take away from that or to leech off of my energy, they're gone. And I'm not even going to have the conversation with them. I don't have time for that. I'm 30, I'm 34. I'm young for the role in the industry that I'm in, but I'm telling you, like, I've got a lot of plans, and I don't have time to be explaining to people why I'm making certain decisions or why I'm doing certain things, if they don't have the same mutual respect for me. So you got to make sacrifices. You have to make the tough decisions that are in the long game, the right thing to do. Right?
Yeah. 100%. And guys, if you're just jumping in right now, we're talking about how to get clients to knock down your door, regardless of what area you're in real estate, regardless how long you've been in the industry. And Paul, you brought up some pretty amazing points, man. What I want you to do now is I want you to kind of give people the last laugh a little bit, Like what would you say to a person out there right now who's watching this? Maybe they're in HPA, maybe they're new, they're excited about being in the group. And they're looking to actually start shifting focus. Maybe they're a person that's a little bit stressed out about money. Maybe they're a person who hasn't properly planned with their finances. I don't know if you saw the last episode that I did with Daniel, but we talked a lot about like budgeting, like actually having a financial plan as a person in real estate, because it's you eat what you kill, right? So if it's a person who's a little bit on the more stress side about things and they're having trouble keeping that mindset focused towards providing value and on the relationship because they're a little bit worried, like, what would you tell that person? What would your advice be?
So I think everybody going through, if you went to public school, they talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? If your basic needs are not met, you can't move up to the next level, right? So if you're stressing about money and this and that, my first question would be okay, well, what are your bills? What is your debt? How are you living? Basically, are you living above your means?
Right.
How long have you been living above your means? It's time to back off a bit. Stop caring about what other people think and live below your means. Don't spend money you don't already have in the bank to pay off things.
Right.
Other than a house, of course. But like, I mean, if you are living above your means, buying fancy cars that you can't really afford, or all these, like, doing all this stuff, how are you going to get ahead?
Right.
So these, like, number one, like, if people understood what, like, I own a multifamily home that I'm living in, and I could easily buy something different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm in the least desirable apartment in that multifamily home because it pays for itself and it makes me a certain amount of money a year. So I can basically live for free.
Right.
So any stress with money is gone instantly from that.
Yeah.
That took me a long time to do from younger. Again, I grew up with nothing. Nobody helped me buy this. Nobody gave me money. Nobody taught me how to buy a house at the time. It was well before I was an agent in real estate. So people, listen, we all have noise. We all have struggles. And I can tell you, I will never tell you all of mine or what I had to go through. And there's a good reason for it, but understand I get it. Okay. Yeah. And if you don't, it's okay to be stressed out. It's okay to be worried about money and budgeting things, but you got to make smarter decisions. You know what? Stop eating lobster and go eat bologna sandwiches. Drink water. Stop drinking soda.
Let's take that one back. People can't be eating bologna sandwiches; they're gonna get fat. we gotta keep people looking good, feeling good, Paul. But continue. I see what you're saying.
The point is there's a cheaper way to live. Yeah. And if you're eating bologna sandwiches, then you're gonna have to run 5 more miles a day. There's a way to do it. You just gotta figure it out.
Right? I get you.
It's just, but it does come down to mentality. You got to remind yourself that and I already know it, and I've known it since I was a kid. The future is amazing. I'm living in it all the time, but it is a double-edged sword. If you're always in it, it means you're missing what's happening now.
Right.
So, there is a balance, and I'm not saying I've got a perfect balance, but I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day here, it's a time game. So for newer agents, just keep doing what you're doing, unless you're doing nothing,
Right.
But you got to keep doing what you're doing. This doesn't happen.
Stay consistent with it. Yep.
Like if you've been doing something for 6 months and it's not working, it's because you haven't been doing it long enough. Like this is a long game here.
Yeah.
A long game, So it's
so ultimately make peace with the fact that the successful life you want to create is a long game, especially if you want to do it right and you don't just want to take shortcuts in the easy route, because the shortcuts in the easy route always leads to negative energy coming your way, right?
Well, shortcuts when the market's going to go south here at some point, and when it does, the people taking shortcuts have never actually learned really how to do the job, and they're going to be out of the business. Yeah, there's no longevity in that.
1.7 million might go down to 1 million. We'll see. Hopefully, right? Anybody who doesn't want to better get into this group. Yeah.
Absolutely. Anybody joining this group has a certain mentality that they want to do better, and they see that they have more potential. Then they just may not feel like they're meeting it. Right. So if you've even signed up for this, you're in the right direction, and your mindset is in the right direction. Yeah. So keep up the good work. Really, you gotta keep going.
Absolutely. So let's end on this note. Just so you guys all are aware, who are listening to the podcast or watching this live on Facebook or in the Facebook group or on YouTube, because we're live on YouTube as well. If you haven't yet joined High Performance Agents, we are a referral network group on Facebook that also provides educational resources, coaching, free challenges that are coming up really, really soon here for mindset, for fitness, for business, for social media. And we're doing a lot of things in the real estate space. So make sure that you join it if you're not already. If you're listening to the podcast, go join it right now. The link is in the podcast. And if you are inside of it, make sure that you invite at least one person who needs to hear what we just went over today. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Paul, for being back. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Correct? 2 weeks? Good stuff, man. We'll see Paul back here in 2 weeks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all in the next one. Take care.